So just a quick recap. I got this P17 from World Tiger Imports. It's listed as a B grade. Didn't take long to arrive the first time, but it was basically cracked in half here, which was not very good. So their customer service was pretty solid though, and they sent me a replacement, which is even better than the last one I got. It does appear that that damage happened during shipping, which has happened to me before. Got a Mosin Nagant from them that looked like that their carrier had driven a forklift into it. So overall this looks pretty good. I'll be curious to see how it looks under the wood. So I'm gonna go ahead and break this down and show you how it looks. Alright, so I got it all broken down. Take a closer look. You can see that crack's pretty bad in the handguard here. It goes pretty far down, farther than it shows on the outside. So I'm going to do a repair on that. But the other top handguard looks okay. Barrel looks okay. It does have some rust on it, so I'm going to really have to oil this and clean it out really well. You can see some rust on here as well. Boiling the stuff up will help. The bolt's in good shape, just dirty. Spring's intact. Looks like the firing pin was pretty well greased. And the extractor looks like it'll be fine. Got all the small parts in here just to keep them from getting lost. As far as the stock goes, I have to get the butt plate off. It's definitely pretty stuck on there. I have to get that in my vise and when I get a chance to get that off. But you can see that the wood here is in pretty decent shape. There is some of that rust there. But I don't see any cracks or damage to the stock, which is really important. So it's really just aside from the crack here in this top handguard, the wood's pretty solid. See, the other side of the barrel looks a lot better, as well as the other side of the receiver. So it's possible some moisture could have gotten there. You can see a little bit of bleed over here, but that's just surface rust. So go ahead and get these parts in a pot of water and get them boiled up, and I'll start cleaning up the barrel and receiver here. But to get all the smaller parts cleaned up, I boiled them and basically cleaned up some steel wool, some oil. The butt plate obviously is a bit more worn than a lot of the other parts, but I'm actually really impressed how they came out. A lot of them have a good amount of original finish left. The magazine does have some pitting here, but I did get a lot of that rust neutralized. Probably hit it with a little bit more oil and brass brush. There's the floor plate. You can see it's worn on the outside, but a lot of finish on the inside. Spring's in really good shape. Had a lot of surface rust that came right off with some oil. The boiling definitely helped too. You can see this cleaned up nicely as well on the follower. I have all the small parts in here, and overall they're pretty good too. You can see a lot of the screws are in good shape. They have a lot of finish left on them, and the threads look good. Let's go take a look at the stock. Let's look at the stock. It came out really nice actually. I cleaned up with some boiled linseed oil. Also used some Murphy's Oil soap initially just to get a lot of the dirt and grime off of it. You see the wood grains really came out pretty well. Probably hit it with some more boiled linseed oil before I put it all back together, but pretty happy with it. As far as the handguards go, I mean, this one's pretty badly cracked. So I'll probably either try to repair this or just replace it. These are pretty easy to find, so just replace it, especially because it doesn't really match very well with the rest of the stock. It's kind of a lighter color, so let's see if I can get one that matches a little better. All right, so I got the receiver here and the barrel wiped down. Still a little bit more cleaning to go, but I'm gonna let some oil sit in it, try to put it all back together, and probably revisit this in another
couple weeks. I like doing that with a lot of the RTI guns, usually just so dirty that you just gotta let them sit for a while. See that I did address some of the rust here. So just some oil here will help out. There's a little bit of pitting here on the barrel. See, on this side of the barrel looks a lot better. Did notice it looks like to be the date the barrel is checked, which is August 1918. Alright, so go ahead and put all this back together and show you how it looks. Alright, so I got it all put back together. Take a closer look at it. The stock is really nice. It's got some dents, but could always steam those out. The receiver looks pretty good. It's got a good amount of original finish left. You can see where they hit that with the wire wheel. And then you can see there's some pretty stubborn rust scale here that I'll just have to let some oil work into it. The bolt is pretty smooth after cleaning it out, and I did clean out a lot of the rust and everything that's in the receiver, but still a little bit left in there. It's pretty stubborn. Not too much finish remaining on the floor plate and the trigger guard itself. And this rear upper hand guard's in good shape, as well as the rest of the stock, but there's that crack here. So I'll probably just end up replacing this with a new old stock front hand guard and just basically finish it to match. Both barrel bands are pretty much in the white, so those will probably be a good candidate for rust bluing. Muzzle's a little worn too here on the barrel. Just go ahead and turn over. Butt looks good on the other side as well. See, there's that ordnance mark. And then just a lot of worn finish here on the receiver. And then I'm going to let some oil just kind of work in here, and I'll keep hitting it with a brass brush to try to clean all this out. It's pretty hardened right here. I also have to take the rear side off at some point. Wasn't able to really get to it this time around, but this spring probably just has a lot of gunk in there because it's not allowing the rear sight to go down all the way. So I have to take all that apart, clean it out. This is really the only damage I could really see on the stock. It's just really just a chip, so can't complain. I'm glad the stock is sound where it counts. You can see that there's a lot of R stamps on here for Remington. A lot of times you see cracks here. I got like a little scratch here, but luckily not a crack. But you see a lot of cracks develop around the trigger guard. Sometimes you see cracks here, as well as near the back of the receiver here, but luckily it's sound for me. So hope you enjoyed this quick video. Hopefully it helps you if you're still on the fence on getting one of the B grade P17s. I definitely think this was worth it. Overall, it's in pretty good condition considering that it came from the Ethiopian cache. The bore is also in good shape. As you can see, the bore looks pretty good. Should be a good shooter. As mentioned before, I'll probably do a little bit of rust blue on the bands, but other than that, aside from some other cleaning I have to do, it's in pretty good shape and should be ready to go to the range soon. If you have any questions about this rifle, feel free to drop in the comments. Should have some more projects coming up. some cleanups as well as some range videos. So if you'd like to be alerted of those, feel free to subscribe and sign up for alerts. And as always, thank you for watching.